Hello, 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 and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, known as the Dream Decipherer, and this is Dream Your Life, Live Your Dream Live, where we talk about all things dreams. Today we're going to be looking at dreams in terms of spirituality and what the relationship is between dreaming and our spiritual lives. Now, there has been a very long connection in human history between dreams and spirituality. Virtually every established religion, whether East or West, has had some relationship with dreams. For example, Joseph interpreting dreams for Pharaoh in the Old Testament. The many prophets who received guidance and information in the Old Testament or in the Jewish Torah information came in dreams. In Islam, the writing of the Quran was actually the result of a dream that Muhammad had where the angel Gabriel bid him to speak and spoke the Quran into existence. The ancient oracle at Delphi in ancient Greece, the high priestess there would go into a trance and make all kinds of predictions, and people would bring offerings and what have you to be able to get wisdom from the spirit realm. So dreams have always been seen as a part of spirituality, and both are ways of accessing the deeper layers of our minds and souls. They can both relay information that is not readily available or even understood by our conscious minds, or can be accessed via rational thinking. They both help us to understand ourselves better as well as our place in the world and guide us on our spiritual path. Some of the ways that spirituality and dreams are related is that people often believe that dreams are messages from our higher self or spirit guides or angels or some other spiritual beings. Now, these messages can offer us guidance, can support, encouragement, or even warnings, and can help to guide our decisions and our behavior. Dreams, as in our spiritual lives, give us a compass, if you will, a moral compass where we can learn, heal, grow, and just become our best selves. So dreams can also, as well as spirituality, can also give us glimpses into other dimensions or other realities. They show us past lives, future lives, parallel worlds. In other words, it takes us out of our ordinary day-to-day existence and shows us a wider vision of what life can be like. So their dreams are also an expression of the deepest innermost desires and hopes and fears deep within us, and they not only indicate what is going on with us and what we're thinking and really feeling at a deep level, but can also point the way to new ways of thinking and being and doing things. So dreams can also show us what gifts and abilities that we have, how we can use our intuition better, our creativity, if we have ability to be able to affect healing, like healers, or psychic skills can all be brought up to conscious level through paying attention to our dreams. Now, we can also look at how spirituality and dreams are related in terms of our emotions. Dreams are all about our emotions, what we're really feeling and thinking. Not so much thinking, but really feeling. And dreams, as I always say, are a call to action. Whether it's only just to realize and to consciously take on board something or admit something or acknowledge something, but a call to actually take a step to move something forward in our lives. And emotions have been, the strength of our emotions actually has an impact on our dreams. So it's the thing that has the most emotional charge behind it that will be the thing we remember most about a dream that we may have. People say they don't remember their dreams, or they only partially remember their dreams. And statistically, 95% of a dream is forgotten within the first 5 minutes of waking up. And that's true for everybody, even somebody like me that works with dreams. So but what we do remember is what has the most emotional charge behind it, that wakes up our emotions and or affects our emotions in some way. But if you look out, as I say, that, humans have had a long history of working with dreams and linking them to spirituality, healing temples where dreams were inculcated in the ancient world, ancient Mesopotamia and other places, to be able to hear what the gods or whoever have to say to us to give us guidance in our lives. But as we became more sophisticated and less tied to religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs, and became more logical and advanced, the belief or putting stock into dreams faded for quite some time, especially during the Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s. But what has been happening in the 20th and 21st century is that the worm has turned, and we're going back to or reviving those connections between our dreaming and spirituality and other things, and searching for deeper psychological and spiritual meaning. And there was Freud and Jung and the others who came after them that took that belief in dreams and what they mean, and put it into a modern context. But so the analyst became the guru, became the religious guide, if you will, rather than a priest or minister or rabbi or something like that. So this lay dream work has created a renewed interest in more spiritual levels of dream experiences, and has actually led, both in more recent past and further back as well, into people actually sitting down together and sharing their dreams as part of, or using their dreams as part of their spiritual practice, regardless of the specific religious traditions from which they come. So, as I said, in the three major Judeo-Christian religions, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, dreams have been long a part of the traditions. And like I said, going back thousands of years to the ancient Mesopotamians, ancient Greeks, and the Egyptians, dreams were inculcated specifically to be able to hear the voice of the gods or God. Now, there's one theory that frames this relationship between our emotions and our dreams, comes from the psychoanalyst and researcher, the late Ernest Hartman, who had a theory about dreams. And he attributed the dreams, or called dreams, as being hyperlinking, which meant that would link our personal experience with higher events or more broad events in a spiritual way, so that we could access them in our everyday lives. Now, if we look at someone like Carl Jung and Freud to an extent as well, as a result of Jung's own dreams and dreams of his clients, he was a psychiatrist and developed psychoanalysis over time, that people came to understand through him and others that our dreams were a product of the emotional and processes that occur in our unconscious mind. And the unconscious will take the information that it gathers from the wider environment and put them into or join them up with our practical experiences on a personal level. So taking the universal, if you will, and stepping it down into our own little universe. Now, there has been, over the recent years, there has been a lot of research, more and more research being done with regard to dreams, which is now not being seen so much as a adjunct or byproduct of sleep, but actually dreams have an importance in their own right. And I know this from my own experience working with clients, that they could be seeing a therapist even for years, but it's not until they actually start to listen to their inner wisdom and listen to their dreams that they actually see a change and can shift pretty quickly, as a matter of fact. But taking a look at a few research studies, 3 in particular, these research studies yielded some very interesting results. Now, there was a study that was done with some 118 participants that seemed to lend weight to Carl Jung's theory about the relationship between our spirituality and our dreams. 98 of these 118 participants, or some 83%, reported having dreams that informed their spiritual life in some way. It could in different ways, but they acknowledged that it affected their spiritual view of the world. Now, in 2005, there were a smaller study of just some 51 individuals who were doing dream work in the context of counseling, and that 29 found that they were encouraged to explore the spiritual meaning of their dreams, and they experienced greater insight and greater or improved well-being, I guess I should say, than the other 21 who were only asked about dreams in relation to their day-to-day waking concerns. There was also a study done before the turn of the new century in 1999, and that was done to actually assess the spiritual content of dreams. The researchers looked at spiritual and sacred objects and characters, and etc. And what they discovered, that out of 280 dream reports that they received, this 21% of those reports had content that was deemed spiritual. And finally, there was another study that was done with terminally ill hospice patients, and what they found was, of the 63 hospice patients who participated in this particular study, found that the participants were having dreams that related to encountering loved ones on the other side, that helped them to prepare to pass on. These were terminally ill people, and I know from working with terminally ill clients myself that they often talk about meeting relatives that have passed on, who are there kind of waiting for them and giving them encouragement so that they can make that transition more easily. So there is anecdotal and even some research evidence that shows that spiritual messages coming through our dreams can be a source of comfort, a source of strength, inspiration, and more. And so that as we lost that ability as becoming more secular over the centuries, that connection had been lost or buried, perhaps, and the psychological theories came to the forefront because we were scientific people and we didn't believe in mumbo jumbo anymore. But something was lost in that cutting ourselves off from that spiritual aspect of ourselves. As there's a saying that, we're not just bodies walking around with souls, we're souls walking around and having a human experience, a physical experiences. And if you look at, as again, I refer back to the scriptures and sacred narratives of all the world's religious traditions, and they all seem to say the same thing. Human beings are in closer and direct communion and contact with the divine when we are dreaming, more than in any other state of consciousness that we may have. So if you look at it in that sense, the actual practice of us paying attention to our dreams, it's usually we dismiss them as being the result of eating too late, or bad cheap wine, or whatever the case may be, and just dismissing dreams as so much nonsense. Now, I know that that's not true. When I worked in drug and alcohol counseling, I noticed that my clients did not dream. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because what do people do when they're drinking or taking drugs? They're trying to forget, to repress memory and forget. And what happens on a physiological level is that they are sleeping at such a deep level that they don't go through the normal stages of sleep and go through the dream stage, which is at the bottom of that cycle, if you will. But once I noticed that once people actually stopped taking drugs or drinking or whatever was that they were doing, they started to dream constantly, to the point where they were dreaming while they were awake. And we see folks like that. They look like they're acting in a psychotic way, talking to people that aren't there. But in that dream state, your dream state is just as real as your waking state when you're in that state. So for them, talking to somebody that hurt their feelings many years ago and they want to cuss them out, the person is right there in front of them. And it's constant dreaming. So it's that all of that stuff that got repressed gets floated back up in a constant stream. As I said, it makes the person actually behave in what seems to be a psychotic manner. Now, the fact that we have come to disparage dreams as a means of gaining spiritual insight and guidance also comes from the privileged place that dreams had in religious traditions. These were things to be approached with reverence and care, rather than just cavalierly, looking into a dream book. Though the ancient Mesopotamians used dream books as well on stone tablets, believe it or not. But it was deemed that it was something that was so sacred that it wasn't the realm of anyone. You needed to go to a special place, enact certain rituals, and have a interaction with a priest or priestess or someone in a temple to be able to have that experience where spirit speaks. But there, as I said, there's a long tradition. I mean, that dreams have important messages for us if we're willing to listen. Now, interestingly enough, in the East, in Asia, there's a slightly different take on dreaming, and particularly in Buddhism. And in Hinduism, dreaming is part of Maya, illusion. It leads you down the garden path. So not dreaming is the aspiration. You don't want to dream. in ancient Asian traditions, because that was a kind of the path of that would lead you astray. So, or rather, just random dreaming. If you were dreaming lucidly, i.e., you were aware that you were dreaming, that was a means of tapping into a higher source of information, and also to be able to tap into the community rather than just dreaming on the individual level. You're dreaming for the collective, if you will. So it has been the realm of religious experience or spiritual experience to work with dreams. It's only in modern times that we've decided that that was just so much nonsense and to be ignored and forgotten about. But as Freud, Jung, and others that came after them determined that dreams were, as Freud and Jung said, were the royal road to the unconscious. Meaning that the deepest and wisest part of ourselves, the part that is connected to all things, all people, all things, everywhere, all the time, has much to teach us if we're willing to listen. And the price for not listening can be devastating. I mean, people spending years in therapy and never getting better. They're just making their therapist richer. And the answer was right in front of them all of the time, laying in wait to be tapped into in their dreams. I've had clients that had that, like I said, years and years of therapy, but of 1 or 2 sessions where they looked at a dream, particularly recurring dreams, they received the key that helped them to flip everything around and to move their life forward. So there is a real connection between our spiritual lives and our dream lives. Both deal with our emotions. Both have the power and ability to help us to see things from a broader and higher perspective. But what are you going to do with that? That is really the deeper question. You know, you're given this information, you're given this inner guidance, this inner guru, an inner therapist, and you don't listen. So, I mean, but the thing is that you will be forced to listen, because you will reach a point where perhaps things get to such a point where the only person that you can gain any wisdom from is yourself. And isn't that worth what we're all about, is to develop our higher selves and be the best we can be? Our dreams are the key to that. So there you have it. The relationship between spirituality and dreams is a long-standing tradition in human history, and one that is on a scientific level being examined. But it's not about what you think. It's about how you feel. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great rest of the day and week to come, and I'll see you again soon. And if you have a dream that you would like to be able to understand, or you're having sleep issues, get in contact. My details are in my bio, and you can take advantage of having a free initial consultation to get some individualized sleep tips or to get help with a dream. Thank you again, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.